Alrighty, hello 6th graders. What we are going to focus on today is making sure that we are trying to make our mannequin look as realistic as possible. So we talked about one way that we can make the mannequin appear as if it is round through the use of using light values and dark values within our art. So we have already established, as you can see on the screen here, we worked through just an example shading the face and making sure that the head of the mannequin had a highlight in the top left corner because our light source is coming from the top left, and doing our shadows on the right side and the bottom side of the head as well. So you should treat every single body part in that same manner. So what we did yesterday is worked on going in and adding highlights in the top left section of every single body part to create a little highlight on there, the top of the chest, the top left of the middle of the abdomen, and also the bottom of the abdomen. We added some white on the top left as well. So when we are working on this today, if I were to zoom in, we need our white and black oil pastel again with the color that we have chosen for our mannequin. What we should be doing is trying to blend where we see our white areas, our black areas, and add that medium value that is in between, which is the color that we're using. So after we had added our highlights, what we should have done is added a shadow underneath the armpits, underneath the abdomen and the leg area, on the inside of the legs, and then also on the right bottom side, I should say, of every single body part. So right bottom side, we added a little black shadow here since our light source is shining from the top left. So once we have that accomplished, you can even do the inside of the arms as well, inside of the hands. Once we have that step finished, we can go in and add our medium tones. So remember, left is light, right is dark, and the bottom of our body parts are dark as well here. So as we work through the mannequin, we can remember that. So I'm done with my black and white for now. Now I can go back with my medium tone. And if I zoom in a little bit here, I am going to focus on using a circular motion to blend and fill in the areas in between the highlights and shadows with that medium value. Use a circular motion to blend my white into the color that I have chosen. I feel a circular motion just helps those colors mix really nicely. So right now I'm mixing that highlight, the white, with my purple. And then I'm moving through the rest of the mannequin and then blending my purple into the black a little bit as well, kind of dragging that purple into the black area where that shadow is. It's looking pretty good. We can zoom out for a moment to see what that looks like. Just need to do a little bit of blending right in the top here. Again, using a circular motion. I can always go back and add a little bit of white if I feel that it got too dark on me. If I want to make that highlight pop a little bit more, I can go in and add more white. So now I'm moving on just to the other body parts here. Again, wherever I don't have color yet, I'm just going in and filling that in and blending in my purple with the white and the black. And what I'm trying to do, artists, too, is I'm also trying to cover the original white marks or my pencil marks from the beginning when we first sketched these. So if those aren't covered yet, you may want to take your oil pastel and really work on covering those up quite a bit. The other thing I feel is helpful is after you have the body parts done is going in with a little bit of black and kind of defining where the edge of the body parts are too, since we kind of lose that sometimes. So I might just go in and add a little shadow in between, you know, the shoulders and the abdomen and the arms. So working my way through the entire thing. This can actually go fairly quickly if you already have your highlights and shadows done. Then when you're done with all of this, you can always go back and touch up any areas that you may have missed or want to help define that area a little bit more. And the nice thing about having these highlights and shadows is that Mannequin will look less flat on your page, and it'll look almost as if it's popping off the page a little bit. And that's the overarching goal here, is to give the illusion that the mannequin is round and takes up space. So sometimes I like to leave a little bit more white so that highlight really pops a little bit more. So I might not blend that in as much in certain areas if I really want that highlight to stand out. It's looking pretty good so far. And I can always go back again, like I said, with my white, add a little bit more if I feel it gets too dark. If you put your mind to it, you can probably get most of this done in one class period and do any touch-ups tomorrow that you need to. So now I need to make sure that I'm blending that purple in with my black as well. I just noticed it got a little bit dark in some areas. And my last step that I really want to do is kind of go in and define the bottom of the body parts here, like in between the abdomen. I'm just using a black to go over my lines once more to show that there's a little shadow underneath each of the mannequin parts here. So the wrists, the elbows, under the leg pieces. Might do the top of the shoulder here as well. So after you're done with this step, adding the black around these body parts, if it ever gets too thick, just grab your color and kind of blend it in a little bit. Mix it in with that black. And once you're done with this step today, artists, you no longer need like these little marks that we used in the beginning to help guide where each of the body parts are drawn and what size they are. So what I would recommend doing is taking an eraser and then going in and erasing those since we no longer need them. So that'll be really important today. Erasing those just as a final cleanup. And after you're finished with all of these things, and if you're feeling like the mannequin is looking how you would like, all of you can start adding a fun background to your piece as well. So I've had students do a sports ball next to them, soccer ball, basketball in the arm. I've had students draw medals on their mannequins as well. But you can think about, where this mannequin is. So if I were to create a simple scene in the background, let's say I wanted to do a forest or something like that, what I might do is sketch that out with maybe my white oil pastel first in the background. Maybe create kind of a hill going behind my mannequin. And then what I might do is draw maybe some trees in the background here that are pretty simplistic. I'm not asking for a whole lot of detail, especially because your background is way behind the mannequin, so don't feel like you have to get too into depth with this because you don't want to kind of take away from your mannequin either. I want these trees kind of going behind the mannequin, so I could do that, and maybe I could do a little bit of green below this as if they're on a green hill. And it doesn't have to be, doesn't have to necessarily cover the whole page too. You might just do certain parts of the background. Could maybe draw a moon in here behind the mannequin, up on the top here. I've had actually students draw mannequins on the moon. Some students like to have a little bit of fun with the location, so other planets or inside of a room of some kind. It's really up to you guys what you'd like to do for this. Keep the background fairly simple. You don't have to fill this whole thing with oil pastel. Just add some objects or a location behind the mannequin. I've had students do art easels behind the mannequin with different papers on it. That was a pretty cool idea. I've had students do a starry sky behind them. I've had a student actually draw a fishing boat, and the mannequin was standing on a fishing boat fishing. That was pretty cool. I had mannequins that were transformed into gymnasts. There was a balance beam behind it. All sorts of fun ideas. So we are going to pretend my mannequin is hiking through the woods, I think, is the story behind this one here. Stars in the sky. Could add a little hat to my mannequin if I wanted to, accessories. There's some multicolored stars. So have fun with it. You have today's class period to add some creative details once you're finished with your piece as well. Remember, if you want those colors to be really nice and bright, you need to remember to add more layers. You can always peel the paper off if you need to. If you're running a little bit low on color. Draw some texture in the trees. Blend some green and brown together for the hill. And when you're done, you can add signature to the bottom. Some students may even want to use like a white colored pencil for this, so it really stands out. And you are all finished.